Hello everyone, this tarot reading is focusing on making a choice. So let's say, for example, today you have to make a choice and you're not sure what the best approach is, what direction to take, or what choice aligns most with your highest good and the path that you're currently on, or the energy that you're in and mindset that you're in. Anyways, this reading is guiding you towards what you should be focusing on when making that choice, okay? There is a lot that I'm picking up on and I'm really happy with what I'm picking up. But I'm going to probably go here, there and everywhere, but it should make sense. So you've got Platypus Spirit. It says stop complaining and focus your attention on the blessings in life. Brutal oracle deck, but I love how the messages are very just straight to the point. Then for the tarot, you've got the Four of Cups, the Six of Wands, the Chariot, and then the Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Now, before I start rambling on about everything with what I'm picking up, side note or side message. I was watching this morning before I came to my desk a very, very old interview with a patient in a mental hospital who had been diagnosed with schizophrenia. It was extremely fascinating to watch. Anyways, what stood out to me wasn't the diagnosis itself, okay? It's something a lot more simpler than that. Whenever the doctor asked the patient a question, the patient often would pause before he responded. And you could see his eyes, and you could see, he was looking and listening to obviously the voices. But what it appeared like, or what it kind of felt like it was like he was listening first, processing, then choosing how to answer. And I really admired it, even though it's what it is. I admired how it was handled, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not comparing anyone watching this to a situation like that at all. But what I find interesting is the idea of the pause bit. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. The moment before reaction, the space before response. And that is what I feel this reading's actually highlighting, or part of this reading's highlighting. Because I do feel like you may be in a moment where you have to make a choice to make. But part of that choice is how you respond internally before you act externally, yeah? So before making this choice, pause, listen, observe. Don't rush, my darling, into an answer just because you feel the pressure to decide quickly. Because in that pause is actually where the clarity can be found, okay? Now, with that being said from here, I do feel this reading moves into what you're choosing between. The thoughts that kind of keep you stuck, or the path that moves you forward. Now, what I find really interesting is the platypus card. I actually love seeing it here because the platypus is one of the most unique animals in this world. It has so many different qualities and characteristics that don't seem like they should fit together, but somehow they do. So to me, the platypus is reminding you not to become so focused on seeing something from one perspective. Well, this is kind of what I get with this. Because if you see it from one perspective, you'll miss all the other opportunities or possibilities that are available to you, okay? Because with the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups, I do feel for some of you, you have become very focused on this one very particular energy that seems more in the past, yeah? Or this one disappointment, or one regret, or one outcome, or emotion, yeah? Or one thing that just didn't work out the way that you hoped. But what if you looked at it differently, my darling? What if you allowed yourself to see the situation from multiple angles instead of actually remaining focused on what has already happened? Now, one thing, well, multiple things stood out to me, but the thing that's I'm actually noticing as well is you've got Four of Cups, Five of Cups, Six of Wands, Chariot, which is 7. So 4, 5, 6, 7. There's progression in the cards, my darling. To me, that's movement. That's progression. That's growth. That's not remaining where you currently are. So when making this choice, I feel you're being encouraged to focus on what moves you forward rather than what keeps you stuck, okay? Because the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups both carry energies of disappointment, dissatisfaction, regret, sadness, or emotional heaviness. But what I love is that both cards also contain opportunities. In the Four of Cups, a new cup is being offered to him, okay? In the Five of Cups, 2 cups remain standing behind him, which is good, hopeful, and positive is what I'd say, yeah? Now, what's interesting is that both figures are focused on 3 cups in front of them. One is focused on what isn't satisfying them, whilst the other is focused on what has already been lost or spilled. So when making this choice, I wouldn't focus on what feels familiar. what you've already tried or what didn't work out before. Focus on the new cups, my darling. Focus on what's being offered. Focus on the opportunity that hasn't yet been explored. Because with the Six of Wands and the Chariot, they aren't cards that sit in sadness or regret, my darling. These are cards that are about movement. These speak about recognition, success, overcoming obstacles, taking control, leadership, determination, willpower, and moving forward despite what's happened. Okay? So for some of you, this choice may be connected to work, a new opportunity, a relationship, a direction, a decision, or even how you choose to handle a situation. But for others as well, I actually feel this reading's talking about your mindset. So let's say you're feeling sad or hurt or angry or frustrated or disappointed or stuck, okay, in this energy. The message here is to do whatever you can to move yourself out of that energy. Go for a walk, have a bath, listen to music, change your environment, do something that shifts your energy. Because when this energy here, like the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups, it can feel heavy. And the way that I see it is that, I do apologise because like some people, it can trigger people by me saying this, but I see this as like internal demons that sometimes kind of want to keep us stuck in regret or sadness or anger or fear and disappointment. Those thoughts that keep repeating, those stories that keep going round and round, those emotions that convince us that nothing will change. The part of our mind wants you very focused on those spilled cups, okay? But the Chariot wants you focused on where you're going, my darling. So if you're upset about how somebody treated you or anything like that, challenge that bloody thought. If you're disappointed, challenge that thought. If you're feeling defeated, challenge that thought. Remind yourself of what you've learned. Remind yourself of how far you've come. Remind yourself of what is still possible. Because you are far more powerful than those thoughts will have you believe, okay, my darling? And sometimes it doesn't even have to be something massive either. Sometimes people can think, changing their mindset means that they need to suddenly become positive all the time. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm actually saying is don't allow that internal voice, that little demon inside you, to have all the power. Take some of that power back. Trick it. Challenge that little fucker, okay? Because it doesn't want you moving forward. It doesn't want you seeing the opportunities. It doesn't want you focusing on those two cups, yeah? Still standing, or the direction of forward movement. It wants you focused on what went wrong, on what keeps you stuck in the past. So when that negative thought pops into your head, redirect it yourself. Think about a bloody delicious Ferrero Rocher milkshake you had once before, or that absolutely tasty donut. Why am I thinking about food? But the best donut in the world. Or, when you stroked that horse in the years ago and it loved being scratched under the chin, yeah? Change your mind, your focus. Or that lovely cup of coffee you had this morning. Think about, the walk that made you smile. Think about something, anything, because every single time you do that, you're taking more power back, okay? You're reminding yourself that you are actually in control of where your attention goes. And the more you practice that, the easier it becomes to move yourself out of those heavier energies and back towards that Chariot energy of movement, progress, determination, and taking control of your life again. So for some of you, this reading is quite literally about a choice in front of you. A new opportunity, a career path, a relationship, a move, a decision, or a direction that requires you to focus on what moves you forward rather than what keeps you stuck in the past. For some of you, maybe encouraging you to choose the new opportunity, the new cup being offered, the path that creates the progression, the leadership, the confidence, the success and forward movement. Now for others, the choice isn't external at all. The choice is whether you continue feeding those little demons, those emotions, the disappointments and regrets, and stories that keep you trapped in the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups energy, or whether you choose to take back your control and focus on the opportunities still available to you, my darling, okay, and move yourself towards the success, the confidence, the leadership and forward movement of the Six of Wands and the Chariot. Either way, the message really does feel the same. Focus on the cup that's being offered, the new cup. Focus on, the cups that are still standing, still upright. Focus on where you're going, not where you've been, my darling. Because this reading doesn't feel like it's asking you to stay stuck. It feels like it's asking you to move. All right. I hope this has helped. Have a wonderful day. Bye.